Can landlords get the £5,000 heat pump subsidy which the UK government is offering? The answer is yes, with the subsidy becoming available from April 2022. The main aim of this is to try and bring the cost of installing a heat pump in line with the cost of installing a new gas boiler, as the UK tries to move to become a more carbon neutral country. So in today's video, I'm going to break down some of the pros and cons about heat pumps and my personal opinion on whether landlords should use them. Hello people, I'm Jim. Welcome to the channel. I'm a property investor who's documenting my journey to financial freedom from my day job. I'll be breaking down everything to do with property investing, investing in general, and getting a better grip on your personal finances. So if you're like me and want to grow your wealth, then please do not forget to hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell on so you know when I post new videos. Obviously, like most countries in the West, the UK government is starting to look at how it can reduce its carbon footprint. Instead of using traditional stuff like oil, gas or coal to heat our homes, we're starting to look for alternative options. The UK government has a goal of net zero carbon emissions by 2050, with gas heating accounting for 21% of the UK's carbon emissions. So the government has taken the bold step by phasing out gas boilers by 2035. And from 2025, no new builds will be allowed gas boilers either. Not only this, but from a consumer's point of view, a lower cost alternative to heating your home has to be worth looking at. Normally gas is one of the most expensive overheads people have, but this issue gets compounded when the prices of gas go up. So an alternative solution is needed to meet this demand, and this is where heat pumps come into it. So how do heat pumps actually work? Well, it takes energy from either the outside air and the outside ground, and then transfers it into heat, similar to the way your refrigerator works but in reverse. And then this is then circulated around the heating and hot water system. Electricity is used to run the heat pump, principally a fan, compressor and circulating pumps to transfer energy from the heat source into the heating system. This renewable source of heat is used to create warm air or water, as well as hot water for both central heating systems and domestic hot water supplies, by utilising small differences in the temperature from the source to a fluid. This fluid passes through a compressor, increasing the temperature and transfers the higher temperature heat to the heating and hot water circuits of the home. Heat pump systems are somewhat new in the UK market, but have been successfully used in Scandinavia, Germany and other parts of Europe for a few years now. They've been particularly successful in locations where there's an abundance of renewable electricity. So let's talk about some of the main advantages and disadvantages of installing a heat pump. Firstly, the advantages. Overall, the running costs should be lower than an oil and gas boiler, even when you factor in the extra electricity. Now, I'm sure the long-term view on this will be for it to become cheaper and cheaper as renewable electricity becomes easier to find and store. Ideally, assuming you have a good fitted pump by a good company, you should have less maintenance. Now, everyone knows someone, if not themselves, have had a nightmare with a boiler conking out, or have had to pay an arm and a leg for a service package on a boiler. There's none of this when it comes to a heat pump. And obviously, unlike boilers, there are no deadly gases involved, so there's no risk of carbon monoxide poisoning. Along with this, it meets the carbon emission standards, which you would like to think would future-proof the pumps. The heat pumps can also double up as an AC unit as well as a heating unit, so you get two functionalities there as well. And finally, of course, you get access to the £5,000 subsidy from the UK government if you wanted to install one from next year. Now for the downsides. The reason why the government is giving people £5,000 to install them is due to the fact that they're normally very expensive to install, costing between £6,000 to £20,000 at the top end, which is far more expensive when compared with installing a boiler. In order for the pump to work in the most efficient manner, you need to have a property which has really good insulation to keep all the heat in. This might be an issue if you have an older property, as you'll lose lots of the heat through the windows, roofs and walls. It is certainly not as easy as installing a boiler. There can be lots of outside wear to your property, and it may cause lots of disturbances to your home. You may also require suitable ground space to install the pump as well. And finally, there's the fact in colder climates a heat pump is less efficient, so it might be not ideal if you live in a colder country. Obviously, given the fact gas boilers will be banned from new builds from 2025, this will probably mean most of them will have heat pumps. And generally, this is probably a really good idea, as these houses will be insulated properly. And if you're building a house from the ground up, you can factor in the installation of the pump instead of having to do it ad hoc. But if you're a landlord and have a big portfolio of terraced houses from the 60s, which have little outside space, and the houses are not really insulated properly, then the answer is you're probably not going to go for a heat pump, even with the £5,000 incentive. But I'm sure as technology improves over time and it becomes easier to install the pumps, and they also become more efficient, it might change and become more viable down the line. But if you're a landlord who's thinking about installing heat pumps across your portfolio, please let me know in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, then check out some algorithm recommended videos of mine, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Cheers.